Hey, what's going on, people? My name is Terrell Andretti, and I'm the Narc's nemesis. If you watching me on YouTube, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. That helps YouTube's algorithm pick up this content and push it out to more people that need it. Somebody liked it for you, so make sure you like it for somebody. Y'all excuse me, I just came out of the gym, so I'm a little winded. But if you need a one-on-one phone session, the link is down below in the video description. If you need to talk, if you need to vent, if you need advice custom made and tailor fitted to your situation, make sure y'all book a session. I do all cities, states, time zones, and countries. So please do not let that deter you from booking a session. If you do not see your desired date or time, make sure that y'all send me an email and I will get you booked, because I do evening and weekend sessions, but they are upon request. Also, y'all make sure y'all check out my performance video for my song Regret Radio. It is a song about my narcissistic experience, and it is off my pop project Supernova, which tells my narcissistic experience in its entirety. So y'all make sure y'all give that a listen. It's available on all streaming platforms, and some of the songs are available here on the channel. Today I want to talk to y'all about narcissists hate when you know yourself, when you know your worth. Because a narcissist's whole premise or whole strategy is effective based off of you not knowing yourself, you not knowing your boundaries, you not knowing what you want to put up with, you not knowing what you want to deal with, you lowering your standards to fit their norm. Now, see, a lot of narcissists, they have a low vibrational frequency, which means certain behaviors, certain toxicity, certain things that they have made normal, that's how they operate. So if a narcissist sees that you're strong, if a narcissist sees that you can think for yourself, if a narcissist sees that you have standards, if a narcissist sees that you won't take too much bullshit, what they'll do is try to convince you that the fact that you have a low tolerance for certain things is unreasonable and irrational. They will try to convince you that, you know, people deserve all these fucking chances and X, Y, and Z. And the reason being is because they are trying to prep you for what they're going to put you through. They are trying to prep you because they know their behavior. They are trying to prep you because they know their tendencies. They're trying to prep you because they have no intention of changing certain behaviors, or they're going to take their time trying to get it right. And really, with narcissists, they never get it right because they're maladaptive. They don't change. So you'll tell them something like, hey, I don't believe in, you know, whatever it is. I don't believe in friends of the opposite sex or whatever. And they will try to convince you that that is an irrational statement. That is an irrational way to think and operate and be governed by. And the reason why they put so much energy into this is because they know they're going to be uncomfortable dealing with you because of how they're normally used to acting. See, we think narcissists come into situations and they don't know what they're doing. Man, look, people know what's wrong with them. People know their behavior. The thing is, they're not used to people checking them on certain behaviors. They're not used to people standing up and saying, nah, that ain't gonna do it for me. Because, you know, so many people are afraid to lose these individuals or speak up, or, you know, the fear of being wrong, because the narcissist done put so much convention into, you know, making them think that their behavior is absurd. Oh, well, you know, you being a little too harsh or whatever the case is. And the reason why they're trying to convince you that your boundaries are too harsh, or your rules are too harsh, or your respect is too high, it's because they want you to lower the bar for them and their behavior. Because they know they're disrespectful. They know They cause problems. They know they have behavior issues. And the thing is, instead of changing their behavior, they want to change your reaction to their behavior. They want to make it so it's comfortable as possible for them to act the way that they normally act. So they will make your reaction the problem. They will make your standards the problem. They will make your respect the problem. They will make your boundaries the problem. When the problem is actually in the behavior that is provoking your boundaries, your respect, your space. And again, this is a way to um, basically kind of strip your defenses, lower your guard. Hey, you're a little too uptight, or you need to relax, or that's a little extreme. And the reason they'll say it's extreme or it's too much is because they don't want to be judged that harshly. They don't want to be held to that standard, because they know if they are held to that standard in which you have, they're not going to have too much room to operate around you. They're not going to have too much room to blame shift. They're not going to have too much room to gaslight. They're not going to have too much room to lie, manipulate. They're not going to have too much room to project. They're not going to have too much room to hide behind their trauma. So what happens is they have to make room for their trauma. They have to make room for their mischief. They have to make room for their mouth. They have to make room for their attitude. They have to make room for their pullbacks. They have to make room for their lying. They have to make room for wanting you to chase them, the cat and mouse games, the push, the pull, the bullshit. They have to make room for this. And the way they do it is try to convince you that your boundaries are unreasonable. And like I said, they try to make it seem unreasonable so you won't judge them that harshly. Because people know what they do. People know their mouth. People can be oblivious, but some things some people don't know, because maybe nobody's brought it to them, or nobody has had the space to bring it to them, or they just simply wouldn't listen. But if somebody acts extreme as narcissists act or toxic people act, they know, because they've heard this shit before. So we have to stop giving these individuals so much sympathy, because we feel like they don't know what they're doing, or we feel like they don't know what they're capable of, or we feel like because they have a mental disorder that they are unaware of their behavior. Because what happens is they're able to finesse, because of the, oh well, I never heard that about myself, or I never experienced that. And that's cool, but the thing is, you've told them a time or two or three or four or seven. And if you've told them this number of times, somebody else has told them this same number of times. So they're aware that they do these things. They're aware of this behavior. They're aware of the way that they move. The thing is, they don't want to change that, because to change that means to be accountable. To be accountable means you have to deal with shame. To be accountable means you have to deal with guilt. To be accountable means you have to deal with a mirror. Narcissists do not want to do any of that. So what they will do is change the lens in which they are being looked at. They don't want to be held accountable for what they know that they do. They know they move like this. They know they have this issue. The thing is, they've always been put in spaces where they don't have to correct it. They've always been put in front of people that don't challenge them to correct it. They always been put in situations where they're around other people that don't correct their behavior, that don't see an issue with their behavior. They actually surround themselves with people who move this same exact way, so that nobody questions anybody. Everybody just acts how the fuck they want to act. You have to protect yourself from this because you are not obligated to let someone act how they want to act just because you feel like they don't know or they're not aware, or they will try to convince you that this is okay. It's not okay. It's not okay to move in a certain way, especially if you're telling them, nah, this ain't 100. This ain't, we not doing that. And y'all gotta stop having mercy on these individuals, because they will use that against you as well. They will use the I act this way because, and that's cool. That's great. That you're expressing why you move a certain way, but just because a person has told you why they move a certain type of way does not make it acceptable. Um, because although you might feel where they're coming from, that does not mean you have to accept their behavior. And so many of us get caught in that because, again, they will use that to um, gauge how disrespectful they're gonna be, how reckless their mouth is gonna be, how reckless their behavior is gonna be, how much they're gonna cheat, how much they're going to hide messages, how much they're going to inbox people, how, because they will try to convince you that, oh well, in my last relationship this was acceptable, or in my last situation, and some of them will actually say this, oh well, my ex let me do X, Y, and Z. This ain't that, and that ain't this. So you have to be assertive with these individuals, because people will try to get you to negotiate what you stand for to make it easier for them to run amok, because a narcissist wants to deal with somebody that is comfortable letting them be a narcissist. They don't require them to change. They don't require them to step up. They don't require them to be anything other than what they are used to being. That is the person that a narcissist will stay with the longest. And a lot of them find a challenge in finding somebody who is above those standards, and they pride themselves in pulling that person down into their web. They pride themselves into stripping that person of, this once high figure, or this once dominant force, or this once charismatic person, or sure person, confident person. They pride themselves into pulling them down and reducing them into nothing but a shell of themselves, because we've abandoned everything that we stand for to make that person comfortable fucking us over, mistreating us, reckless at the mouth, talking crazy, cheating, lying, um, sleeping with coworkers, whatever the thing is that they've gotten comfortable doing. They will convince you of that if you let them. This is why it is so important as a human being, whether you're a guy or a girl, to know who you are. Because when you know who you are, you don't allow other people to tell you who you are. Because when other people when other people start telling you who you're supposed to be, it normally only benefits them, and it puts you at a deficit. This is why these individuals hate when you know what you are and who you are, because you're less likely going to allow them to move a certain way. You're not going to allow them to talk a certain way. You're not going to allow them to act a certain kind of way. You're going to hold them to a standard. Narcissists do not want to be held to anybody's standard but their own. Know who you are, know what you are, and don't allow them to tell you who you are. It might cost you relationships, it might cost you business, it might cost you a job, but I guarantee you, being able to look yourself in the mirror is far more important. Y'all make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. If you need a one-on-one phone session, the link is down below in the video description. If you need to talk, if you need a vent, if you need advice custom made, tailor fitted to your situation, make sure y'all book a session. I do all cities, states, time zones, and countries, so do not let that deter you from booking a session. If you need a day or time that is not available, make sure y'all send me an email. It is in the video description. Until next time, another day, another way. And you ain't got to listen, but I know you heard me.